Welcome to Life Mastery for Women. I'm your host, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I've been studying mind mastery and emotional management and energy work and its connection to spirituality for over 25 years. And in this podcast, I help guide you out of your daily struggles in life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. Life is hard, but your daily growth doesn't have to be. Join me 3 times a week as I lead you inward on a healing, connecting, and creating journey. Let's go get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope we are finding you overcoming your limiting beliefs with ease. If you're not overcoming your limiting beliefs with ease, then it is our intention that in today's episode we give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So you notice I've been saying we and our. Guess who's here with me today?
Hello, everyone.
This is my lovely bride, Amy, and we are going to be talking about quite a breakthrough that we had today, then overcoming a limiting belief. So do you want to begin telling the story? Now, listen, there might be some emotions in here because this is still quite raw, as sometimes your very deep-seated limiting beliefs can be. Actually, let me rewind a little bit. As per one of my favorite clients has pointed out to me several times, I need to explain a little bit further before I just ramble on about something, anticipating that everybody already knows everything. So instead of
me, I'm her favorite client.
She is my favorite client. Why don't you take the opportunity right now to explain a limiting belief? You want to do that?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe it would sound a little better coming from me because it'll be a little bit more in layman's terms. No, actually, honey, you are quite brilliant and very great at teaching things. But yes, sometimes for those of us that are just beginning, we need a little bit deeper explanation.
Yeah.
So my interpretation of a limiting belief is kind of just that, a belief that we have that limits us. But I think the thing about it is oftentimes we don't even know we have it, or we don't realize that we have it, or realize how it is limiting us.
They're sneaky that way, aren't they?
They really are.
And they can be very debilitating because a belief is... It's just a simple thought, but because we believe it so firmly, it recreates our reality, and we don't realize the words that we're using. So what are some of the words that you can think of that you would use to confirm a limiting belief that you have?
What do you mean?
Our beliefs and our thoughts are all communicated with words, and so we use our words to confirm our beliefs. Mm-hmm. And so give me an example of a limiting belief.
Well, I guess I could just give mine.
Do you want to start?
Well, we don't have to start the whole story, but I'm not good enough. How about that? That's not the one that was mine for today, but yeah, I'm not good enough.
And sometimes limiting beliefs have different layers as well.
Oh, yeah.
So with different layers, your belief might come all the way down to I'm not good enough. That's the root cause of it. And from there's different beliefs that stem off of that. So for me as a coach, what I say is we get to the root of the belief, then we can de-energize that, which is taking away the momentum of believing that belief, and then you instill a new empowering belief. So the root cause might be I'm not good enough, but you know what? You can go up from there, things that you might say, oh yeah, no, I can't apply for that position, for that job or that promotion because I'm not smart enough. Mm-hmm. And at the base of that would be I'm not good enough. Right?
Right.
Or no, gosh, I couldn't go ask that person out on a date. I'm not pretty enough, thin enough, rich enough, good enough, right? And so there's all these different layers. But if you think about the words that you're using, they're usually pretty extreme. I always, I never, I can't, I'm not. Let's dig into the story. Well, let me ask you this. Let's do like a simple belief that I'm always late.
Okay.
Oh, here's another one. Here's a good one. And this we'll be able to have some good conversation with this. I never get anything done.
Who has a belief like that?
Yeah, right?
That's me, in case you're wondering.
I never get anything done. So think of that belief. That is like the shield that goes out in front of you. If you are saying something like that, I never get anything done, then how could your life be any different? It can't. And if you need a little bit more reaffirming, go back to episode number 3, Stop Throwing Dog Poop, because you are constantly throwing out the dog poop out on the sidewalk of life that says, I never get anything done. You are reconfirming because it happens inside first and then it shows up in your experience. So tell us about your experience of never. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, not to derail us too far, but the trickiness of what you're saying about throwing dog poop is your first instinct is to say, well, no, Jen, I'm not throwing dog poop. It literally just happened. I'm not getting anything done. I didn't get anything done yesterday. And so you feel like you're replaying what happened yesterday, but you're just continuing to perpetuate what happened yesterday, which was the day before that or the couple days before that.
Yeah.
You said you couldn't get anything done.
Well,
Or I.
the experience that you're having in this current reality today, this moment, is all past thoughts, beliefs, habits, behaviors, actions. But they start with you, and you can change it with your thoughts, with your imagination. You can shift your words at any moment and start shifting your world. So literally picture this. You're walking down a sidewalk and you have a giant backpack full of little baggies of dog poop. And then you have another little section of your backpack that is full of coins and hearts and love and fairy dust, glitter, and chocolate Hershey Kisses. And so you reach out behind you and you have a choice by your words, by your thinking of what you're going to throw out in your day. So if you're on the sidewalk and you're saying things like, I never get anything done, you're just reaching in that backpack, throwing out a baggie of dog poop. Then you step in it. And when you're stepping in it, what's happening in your world is that your dog's thrown up on the carpet, your kid's getting in trouble at school, the phone is ringing off the hook, your boss needs you to come in again because someone forgot something or someone called off and you need to go in. And then on your way to work with dog poop with dog puke on your shoes, because that's what's happening in your current reality, you go into your job and you go, this is why I don't get anything done. And it's actually not. The cause is you continuously reaffirming your experience. It happens within first. Okay, so...
Like always forgetting something at the grocery store.
Oh my God. I hate the grocery store so much, but yeah, it's a
I
constant.
always say, what's a trip to the grocery store without forgetting something?
Yeah. And I say, how about you just skip the whole thing and not go? Okay. Today, we were home. It was a Sunday. We were both very, very tired, so we were literally doing nothing. Just a few things, cleaning up around the house. I don't know, standing around doing nothing, right? And we have a group text, a social group text with our youngest son, Cameron, and the parents. Not with Cameron, but it's the parents and his group of 5. So he's got it's a group of 5 boys. They're all very good friends. And so all the parents, we have a group text going. And so I'm going to let Amy fill in on the story, and then we're going to walk you through the whole process of what we did and the sweet, immediate response we got from the work that we did. So go ahead, Amy.
So would it be appropriate to let them know about this particular belief that I already know that I have?
Sure.
I went to a women's retreat similar to the one that Jen has often talked about. Similar in that it was the same one, only Jen was now facilitator along with other women. And so the limiting belief that I uncovered during that retreat was I'm not important. And it's, I want to say come and gone. It's never completely gone. It's definitely a big layered one for me. Mm-hmm. And so continuing to work through those layers. But today I was conversing in this texting group and get a text from someone in that group into the group that said, oh, whose number ends in da 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 da? I don't have that in my phone. And it was my phone number. And immediately all these emotions come up. So the emotion that came up was how I don't feel important because this person doesn't have my phone number. Now, mind you, this is not a new group text. This group text has gone on since early summer. So July, and it is now February. So 7 or 8 months. And of course, as soon as it's happening, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I have all these emotions, right? I have these tears behind my eyes and I'm feeling all these emotions. And in the same time, I'm immediately stuffing them back down because I'm like, oh my God, that's so stupid. Don't be upset by this. This is completely innocent. Nobody has offended you. Nobody has attacked you. Nothing like that. But man, it was like, hit me like a ton of bricks out of nowhere.
So I'm in the next room and she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, what? And she's like, nothing. It's so stupid. It is so stupid.
And you were in the middle of something. And so you were wrapping
Nothing
it up.
important, though, because it was Sunday and we were totally like not doing literally anything.
But my only point to that is, if you know Jen and if she had known specifically what I was battling with and talking about in there, she would have literally dropped anything that she was doing to come in and do what we ended up doing. But she didn't. So for all she knew, I was working on the grocery list, and she was like, nothing, ignore her, do not talk to her, do not engage about the groceries.
So when I go in there and I see her and she's like, and I have no idea what's going on. Cause you're right. I mean, she was in the kitchen, I'm in the living room, and she's going over the grocery list, which I really would rather have nothing to do with, but I do like to eat. So anyway, so I'm watching her. And so I come in, I see her, and I can tell that she's upset about something. And of course, her words too. So anyway, so I'm like, what's going on?
So I said, and I kept saying, it's just so stupid. It's so dumb. She's like, what? And so I said, well, and I retell the story to her, tell her exactly what happened. And then because this is how I am, I immediately begin to defend. It's okay. It's dumb. It's no big deal. I'm overreacting.
Yep. And how many of you do that? When you find those emotions like that, and then you're being basically called out on it, sort of. And I like to say that I'm an expert in creating a safe space for emotions to surface. It's what I do. It's what I love. It's what I live for. Ursula.
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Anyway, one of these days, and I think we're going to do it at a women's retreat, is there's going to be a Little Mermaid. We're going to play the music, or we're going to play the movie or something, and she's going to sing. She does an amazing Ursula. So anyhow, so I come in there, and obviously I see that she's got an emotional upset going on, and I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on, and she does, and I said, all right, so basically, what is the belief behind that?
That I'm not important.
And so instead, what happens out in reality, a person would say, oh, but she doesn't know anything and she didn't mean anything by it. It's just this other parent. And we've met all of the parents and they all know us and they all know everybody. And she's, and so we're talking about, well, if she would have gone back and done some, looking through the text, she would know that it's Cameron's mom and blah, 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 and whatever. It doesn't matter though. That's the thing about limiting beliefs is you can't talk them away.
Well, and the whole point has zero to do with this other person because all that did was bring up the emotion. This person did nothing wrong. It absolutely had nothing to do with the actual situation.
Yeah. This is like, a radar screen. You see it like, what is it, in Top Gun or something? Yeah. And so the screen and it's blipping on the screen. The thing that's blipping is the energy that's in the body. That is the trigger. That's what we call them. They're triggers. And so it doesn't take much to trigger it. And there's times where you don't even need anything that's happening to elicit a response from that trigger. So now, because she's resonating so deeply, this trigger is like wanting to be felt. And let me just give you a little education, is that an emotion is just energy in motion. So this trigger wants to be felt, wants to be seen, and in my opinion, wants to be released. So I basically show up, I get my cape on, and Coach Jen shows up, and I say, okay, go right into replay the scene. Replay, and if you can't get into the emotional state again, is to exaggerate the scene.
Because I am completely classic for buttoning it all up and sucking it all in and be like, nothing, I'm good, I'm fine.
Nothing, I'm fine, wiping tears away. So I immediately go, okay, what is this? Where are you feeling this? Immediately, it was behind her eyes. Okay, so go into that. Now, we're going to walk you through what happened and what she found. This is one of my favorite things as a coach is the really fun visualizations we get from de-energizing. This is when the energy shows itself and reveals itself. So I say, where's it at? She said, behind her eyes. And so do you want to tell the story of like how it unfolded, especially about the container? This was fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can just kind of go back and forth a little bit, kind of as it went.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said it was like little pools behind my eyes.
And so I say, just describe it and bring them together. And now get a container, because we're going to bring the energy out and we're going to get it out in front of us. And I say, get a container, like for the pensieve, if you're Harry Potter fans, for the pensieve, they have these little like potion vials or something with these really cool things on it. I said, be kind of like this really important glass vial. And here's her thought.
I started to do that. I started to think about some fancy glass. And I said, I'm trying to think of how that went. Because I said, oh, well, I had something else in mind, and
this was like where it was, I said something about important and she's like, but what's coming out is the feeling of it's unimportant. And so its container needs to be unimportant. Yeah. And here's what she ended up immediately visualizing to put it in.
A Dixie cup. Because like those little paper cups that you use in the bathroom or in the kitchen or whatever, and then you just throw it away. And so, and now mind you, I was also having a little bit of trouble at this point because that big emotion wasn't there as much anymore because we're talking a little bit. I mean, I'm sitting there with my eyes closed. it's always a little bit difficult for me to just keep in that feeling of what had happened because it's not very comfortable, right? So you don't kind of want to stay there. And so I was already starting to suck it in a little bit. And I'll take your next line because it's what really brought back all that emotion for me again. She's like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, definitely. That unimportant should just be in a really unimportant container. And I'm like, I don't know if that noise equals all that emotion that came up again and the tears filled my eyes again. And
well, and there's what I do is I sometimes give a couple of choices to help guide her, but instead, intuitively, she was coming up with her own. So I started to lessen my choices, but it was a lot of fun. So anyway, I say, okay, so now pour in the pool, the energy that's behind your eyes, and pour that into the Dixie cup. And then we're like, okay, so now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to release it. Well, first, I always ask if there's any messages, and there wasn't any. And so now we need to give it back to Mother Earth, because we're going to de-energize it. We're going to get rid of this, and we're going to bring in a new empowering emotion. So I said, well, what would you like to do? I said, we're going to take it into the energy garden, which is a thing that we've done in the past. One of my normal, I should say, coaching walkthrough part of the thing is to take it into the energy garden. And I said, why don't you water a plant?
And I kind of sat quietly for a minute, and I said, well, I don't think I want to do that because I feel like it's going to kill the plant because I'm watering it with this unimportant water.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned, or that doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
Right, because it's going to kill it. And I'm like, okay, good point. What do we want to do? I said, well, why don't we find something that is important, a body of water that shows itself as this is an important body of water. And I said, and then we'll pour this water into it and it will basically bring it back to its purity. And then she came up with,
well, first we talked about a river. I said, well, what else could it be? And you said, well, I don't know. And you listed a couple things, one of which was a waterfall. And I was like, I can't decide between a waterfall and a river because to me, the waterfall felt very forceful in it was really gonna almost on the way down the waterfall, it would really transmute it into something else. And then into the river, it would just kind of meld and
flow in this beautiful
flow away.
State, yeah. Mm-hmm. So then we pictured, okay, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to take this energy and she's going to stand in a very calm, relaxing stream, I guess, at the top of the waterfall. And I said, now we need to recycle the Dixie cup, and there's a garbage bin right there. And so that's recycle it. So walk them through that.
So it was a recycling bin for unimportant containers. Mm-hmm. And then when you put it in there, then immediately from the ground popped up a flower in its place. So it became something beautiful.
It was so awesome. I love this. I love the vision of this. So then from there, she had poured the water into the waterfall, and as it dropped in, it kind of shined this beautiful white light. So then you knew that it was making the impact. Mother Earth was receiving it and transmuting this, quote, unimportant water into this purity. And then it was going over the waterfall, and then just walked her through, you're going to go down the waterfall. So what we normally do is we go out into the universe and we gather an emotion, but we did work through that. What was the emotion? So walk them through the rest of...
You just kind of watched me through what it would be like going down that waterfall as the water started at my feet and kind of, worked.
Yeah, but what was the emotion? You got rid of I'm not important and breathed in what?
Oh, I'm sorry. But it was acceptance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Walked through filling that up, starting at the feet and all the way up. And we talked about what color that was, which was yellow.
And we changed the waterfall kind of into this really gentle, beautiful slide. So it wasn't literally jumping off a cliff.
Right.
Because you want the whole thing to be not scary and very, very beautiful. We want the whole thing to be beautiful. So anyway, so it was kind of like going down the slide. And in the meantime, all of that water was basically purifying her energy. So coming up through the feet and then through each of the chakras, we walked through each of the meanings of the chakras and how we would clean and clear it through that belief all the way up through the crown until she got all the way to the bottom. And so now we want to, what the big aha was at the end is because we worked with this energy, it was several hours later.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Or certainly a good handful of hours.
6 hours later, yeah.
And then here's how it came full circle. So this was all on the same day. So let's say it was like 1:00 in the afternoon or something. We're going through this coaching and this visual and de-energizing. And here's what happened.
So my phone rings, and it is this mom that had been asking in the group whose phone number this was. And I thought, well, that's weird. And at first, for just a half a second, I let it ring because I thought, well, maybe it was a mistake. And so then I answered it, and lovely conversation. She had called for a particular reason. And so we chatted, and okay, great. Good to talk to you. Talk to you later. Okay, bye. And keep in mind, like Jen said earlier, we've met all these parents, and, we've all gotten along really well.
And she was like asking Amy for feedback.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And it's her
That related to the boys.
It was it was just an activity. It's a birthday situation for her son. And anyway, but she called to ask Amy about this birthday surprise that she was doing.
And so it wasn't until
she's
I'm sorry, I
skipping
didn't mean to.
the main point. You should see her face right now. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So I hang up, and now I would like to point out that I found the importance in this phone call and this information before Jen did.
That's fine. That's fine. I get the point for the earlier part. You get the point for this. We're tied. Okay, here we go.
I got to take them where I can get them.
That's right.
And so hung up. Okay. And now we start to go back to this dinner conversation we were having prior to the phone ringing. And then I kind of sat up and I said, got right in front of her and I said, you know what just happened, right? And she's like, what? And I said, she called me. We had this conversation after this coaching.
That's how fast it can work. This lady has never once called Amy on the phone. It was just, I don't know. I want to beat the dead horse right now, but I don't think I will. I hope you guys have followed this conversation. We're just getting used to how we're going to podcast together.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to teach while we're telling the story. And so maybe what we should do next time is tell the story and then do the teaching. I don't know. Hopefully you were able to follow the ins and outs of this today, but we did this coaching. Here was the thing. And then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, this lady calls, sharing some ideas, asking a little bit for advice, like, how do you think this would go? Or do you think this? Or do you think that? And when you do that, that is showing someone that they're important. And she didn't get on the phone and say, hey, I'm calling all the parents. She didn't say anything like that.
No.
So I just want to reiterate the importance of this energy work, that it immediately starts shifting. It starts shifting things right now.
And sometimes it is not in the way that you think it's going to happen. Not that I had any kind of thought anything would happen. But then you start to kind of be aware of what little tiny signs or, you're getting from the universe that says, kind of affirming the work that you did.
I think it's important to understand that limiting beliefs limit you, and what they are really are little, sometimes big actually, but they're obstacles that are preventing the serendipities, the opportunities, the possibilities from reaching you, because they're like little tiny shields that are up in your energy system that are just not allowing what is possible to come to you. Because if we are saying, I am always late, then that means you can never be on time.
Right.
I never get anything done. That means you're never going to get anything done. You're not going to feel accomplished. When we overcome these limiting beliefs, I have found that the technique that I have mastered really over the last it's 10 years now, it'd be 10 years this summer, is that it's such a very powerful walkthrough. It is gone right now. Now, is this going to be gone forever for Amy? It is going to be gone in the way that it's showing itself. So does she still feel like she's unimportant? There will still be some triggers from that, and we'll continue to coach through them, but they're going to be in different scenarios. Because in this social scenario, she feels that way. In this parenting scenario, she feels this way. In this work scenario, so there's lots of different opportunities to release these pieces of information. But I will tell you this, once they're gone, they're permanent, and they don't come back. And that's what I love about this work, is the healing opportunities that are available to us when you just start working at this energy level. So anything else you want to wrap up with that?
No, I don't think so. Other than it's always so fun to see these happen, and to get that immediate feedback. So sometimes it's hard work, but it's worth it.
Well, and as women, it's, we're very emotional beings, and it is hard because we don't want to feel emotions. They feel yucky, but those yucky emotions are here to teach us something. And it's just like taking out the garbage. If you never took out the garbage in your house is going to be really quite terrible, right? Well, your body is your house. And if you are not taking out your garbage in the form of these limiting beliefs, then your house, the temple, your body is going to start really not feeling very good. So Good work. That was good work today. Good coaching. I hope you you all got something out of that. And you're going to work on your limiting beliefs. We talk about it all the time. It is one of my favorite things to do. It's extremely powerful. It's very transformative. And right now, life starts shifting. So well done, Amy. And I guess thanks for listening, you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. And if you made it to the end of this episode, I'm really proud of you because that tells me that you're dedicated to your own transformation. If you are looking forward to other episodes, please send me a friend request on Facebook under Jen Mack and follow my page so you get notified as soon as another powerful episode drops. Also, if you are inspired by my podcast, please share your opinion in a review so others can be inspired too. Keep going, growing, and transforming, and keep looking for those nuggets of inspiration.